At the beginning of the story, we see that there's an atmosphere of fear on Earth. All the nations have put aside their differences and come together to form the ESD, the Earth Space Defense System. You see, 20 years ago, there was a massive alien invasion that humans managed to defeat. From the wreckage of the alien ships that crashed on Earth, people began to study alien technology, and even figured out ways to counter it. The ESD set up its headquarters in America's secret location, Area 51. With the help of alien tech, humans built their own flying saucers, allowing them to establish bases on the Moon and even on a few other planets. But what humans didn't know was that some aliens were still keeping an eye on Earth. Former President Whitmore kept having strange dreams about it. In his dreams, he would see a weird, circular object. Meanwhile, General Adams was called to Area 51 for an emergency. The aliens captured 20 years ago had always been in a coma, but suddenly, they woke up and began trembling inside their cages. General Adams wanted to discuss the matter with the ESD director, but the director wasn't there. Director David was actually in Africa, where he met the tribal leader Umbutu and his army, who didn't have ordinary weapons like bows and arrows but alien guns. Around their headquarters, alien skeletons were scattered everywhere. The locals weren't too happy to see David, but before things could get worse, Catherine stepped in and said, "David is with me." Catherine had already been working there for some time. She showed David the spaceship that had landed on Earth during the first invasion. 10 years ago, the local people fought the aliens that came out of that ship, and Umbutu told them that 2 days ago, the ship's lights suddenly turned on by themselves. They also found a massive crater nearby, which revealed that the aliens had been drilling deep into the Earth, possibly to destroy the entire planet. But as soon as the mothership was blown up back then, the drilling stopped. When everyone entered the ship, they saw that the computer was transmitting a signal. David recognized it immediately. It was a distress signal, which meant the ship was calling for help from the other aliens to attack Earth again. The frightening part was that someone had already responded to the signal. Meanwhile, General Adams received word that one of the bases built on another planet had been completely destroyed. The entire ESD went on red alert. David in Africa got the emergency message too, but Catherine was still busy trying to decode those golden symbols. Umbutu, just like the former president, kept seeing that same circular object in his dreams. Everyone was trying to figure out what it really was. On the Moon, at one of the bases, people started panicking as the atmosphere around them suddenly began to change. Out of nowhere, a huge circular machine appeared, exactly like the one Umbutu had seen in his dreams. They immediately sent a signal to President Lanford and David. David understood that this must be a spaceship. President Lanford said they should attack first, but David argued that these didn't seem like the same aliens as before. Maybe they were a different race, possibly coming in peace. Lanford said they should take a vote on it, and the results came out in favor of attacking. Following the order, Commander Jiang activated a massive weapon on the Moon and easily shot down the saucer. David then said, "Well, since we've already taken it down, we might as well check what it's made of and what kind of technology it has." Lanford agreed and approved a team of scientists to investigate the wreckage. During a public announcement, Lanford proudly declared that they had saved Earth from another alien attack. Former President Whitmore saw this on TV and grew anxious because he believed these weren't the same aliens. He tried to warn everyone. Patricia told him to calm down and trust the new president. Whitmore agreed and went to rest, but when Patricia checked on him later, she found he was gone. Meanwhile, a pilot named Jake arrived to pick up David and his team in a spaceship to take them from Africa to the Moon, to examine the wreckage of the saucer. After searching through the debris, they found a piece that was still intact. Jake began preparing to lift it. On Earth, celebrations were in full swing to commemorate their past victory. But during President Lanford's speech, Whitmore suddenly appeared and started warning everyone again. Moments later, he was struck by intense pain and collapsed. The same thing was happening to Umbutu at that very moment. Back on the Moon, everyone was stunned when a massive new alien mothership appeared and started descending toward the lunar surface. The team investigating the crashed ship quickly rushed back inside their own craft as the entire area began to shake violently. Jake and David barely made it in time. Jake took control of the ship, while his friend Charlie used robotic arms to grab the alien fragment they had found. After a tough struggle, they managed to secure it. But just as they were leaving, they realized that the mothership had its own gravity field, pulling them toward it. Commander Jiang ordered one of his pilots to activate the big weapon again, but it had absolutely no effect on the mothership. At the same time, the mothership retaliated and blew up the weapon. Jiang immediately ordered everyone to evacuate the entire base as soon as possible. But before they could, the mothership destroyed not only the base but also a huge part of the moon itself. The ESD activated its orbital defense system, but this mothership was far more powerful than the previous one. It destroyed everything in its path and began descending toward Earth. Because of this, many cities started getting destroyed, buildings and people were being lifted into the air. David calculated that the ship seemed to be heading toward the ocean. He guessed that the aliens had figured out that drilling from the ocean would be the easiest way to reach the planet's core since it was already the lowest point on Earth. Meanwhile, Jake was piloting his ship through collapsing buildings and dangerous debris, barely managing to stay in control. Lanford ordered an immediate evacuation of all coastal cities, but the message couldn't reach some boats in time. David's father, Julius, was out fishing in the ocean when he saw the ship. He immediately called David and said, "This one's much bigger than the last." But just then, another boat collided with his. Back at Area 51, the captured aliens in their cages suddenly went berserk. When David and the others arrived, Whitmore quietly sneaked into a sealed room. He released one of the captive aliens, hoping to communicate with it. The alien grabbed Whitmore with its tentacles and took control of his body to speak through him. It kept repeating one thing over and over. "She is coming. She is coming." Catherine showed the alien the circular symbol and asked what it meant. The alien became furious. The soldiers realized that if it got any angrier, it could kill Whitmore. So, they opened fire on it. The bullets didn't do much damage, but then Umbutu arrived and attacked the alien with his blades. The massive body turned out to be just armor. Once it was broken, a smaller alien emerged from inside, and Umbutu immediately killed it. Meanwhile, near the ocean, a group of kids who had lost their parents in the chaos were searching for a place to hide. Among the wreckage, they found Julius's broken boat with him lying unconscious inside. When they saw he was still alive, they decided to take him with them. At Area 51, the team began scanning the mothership. From this, David realized what "she is coming" meant. The queen of the aliens had arrived. Their entire system functioned like that of insects, workers, and one queen. On the other hand, an advanced aircraft sent a live feed from underwater, showing that the mothership was drilling beneath the ocean. The aliens were trying to reach Earth's core, and if they succeeded, the entire planet would be destroyed. Lanford launched a mission to locate and eliminate the Queen as quickly as possible. All pilots were briefed. Drones would go first to disable the mothership's shields, followed by bombers who would attempt to strike the Queen. When the pilots approached the mothership, it activated its defense system. They tried their best to dodge the attacks, but the ship was loaded with far more weaponry than before. Getting close was almost impossible. Jake said their only option left was to go inside the ship. Dylan agreed, saying it was dangerous but necessary. Adams finally granted permission and ordered the other pilots to support them. When the jets entered the ship, they were stunned by what they saw. It was like an entire world existed inside. At that very moment, Whitmore regained consciousness and told his daughter Patricia that the Queen knew they were coming this time. Patricia immediately ran to Adams and warned him that it was a trap, but it was too late. Suddenly, a massive energy pulse was released from inside the mothership, disabling all the jets. However, just before that, the team managed to release their bomb. But the explosion didn't harm the Queen. She was protected by an energy shield. Then another, even stronger pulse was emitted from the alien system, so powerful that it disabled all satellites, the Area 51 base, and even the President's bunker. The mothership then took advantage of the chaos and attacked the bunker, killing Lanford and everyone inside. A short while later, military leaders arrived at Area 51 and declared Adams as the new U.S. president. Inside the mothership, Jake, Dylan, and a few other pilots had survived the blast and were now hiding to avoid capture. At the base, a scientist used a powerful laser to open the section David had brought back from the moon, the one recovered from the wreckage of that circular spaceship. Inside, they found a strange orb that looked like a large sphere. A scientist named Floyd reached out and touched it. Within seconds, the sphere grabbed his hand and activated, speaking in English, a language it learned directly from Floyd's mind. As soon as the sphere activated, the Queen detected its signal and began preparing to destroy it. She donned a massive piece of armor, and the pilots could see the top of the mothership separating. Meanwhile, the sphere explained, "We came here to warn humanity that danger was approaching, but instead, you attacked us without understanding." It revealed that its kind had fought these aliens before. The mothership operated on highly advanced technology and traveled across galaxies, stealing the cores of planets. The sphere further said, "I am the last survivor from my planet." Everything else was gone, and inside that orb was extremely advanced technology. The orb also revealed that on a hidden planet, it trained survivors from different worlds who had escaped alien attacks so they could fight back in the future. That's why the alien had panicked the moment it saw the symbol of this orb. But now that the orb was activated, the Queen could track its location. David said, "If we know the Queen is coming here, then we can set a trap for her, just like she trapped us." Now all they needed was a way to track the Queen, since their new tracking system had already been destroyed by her. Adams then mentioned that he still had an old radar truck left from the last war. It might still work. Adams and David gathered the remaining pilots and explained that since all satellites were down, someone would have to manually trigger the bombs. That meant whoever went wouldn't make it back. Their death was certain. Patricia wanted to take on the mission herself, but Whitmore stepped in and said, "I'll go." Despite his daughter's desperate pleas, he refused to change his mind. Meanwhile, Julius regained consciousness and told the brother-sister pair who had rescued him to take him to Area 51. However, their car was running low on fuel, causing it to slow down. They stopped to refuel and came across a school bus full of children whose driver had abandoned them. Julius immediately took the driver's seat and started driving the kids toward Area 51. Inside the mothership, the pilots found the aliens' hangar. Jake stepped forward to distract the aliens. He started shouting and even peed on the floor to draw all their attention toward himself, while his teammates stole the aliens' jets. Enraged by Jake's antics, the aliens opened fire on him. Just before he got hit, the other pilots managed to fly off with the jets and pick Jake up too. The aliens chased after them, closing doors one by one. The pilots struggled to dodge attacks but barely managed to escape before the doors sealed shut. At the base, everyone was fully prepared for the final assault. Seeing her father leave for the suicide mission, Patricia decided she wouldn't stay behind. She took off in her jet to help him. At that moment, Julius arrived at the base with the children on the bus. Right then, the Queen appeared with her army, and a new battle between the Area 51 defenders and the aliens began. Both sides exchanged heavy fire. David created a fake signal identical to the one emitted by the orb so that the Queen would chase it, and it worked. The Queen fell right into their trap. Patricia flew her jet to her father and said goodbye one last time, knowing he wouldn't survive this mission. Whitmore then flew straight into the Queen's ship and detonated the bombs. For a moment, everyone thought they had finally won the war. But even if the Queen was dead, the remaining aliens were still fighting. They destroyed the biggest weapon at the base. When the smoke cleared, everyone was shocked to see the Queen still alive. She had survived by using her energy shield. The soldiers on the ground retreated to the base to protect the orb from the aliens. Meanwhile, the pilots continued attacking the Queen, but her shield absorbed every hit. Then Patricia noticed something. The Queen briefly lowered her shield whenever she attacked. Seizing the opportunity, Patricia fired at the weak spot, shattering the shield and leaving the Queen vulnerable. Furious, the Queen launched a direct attack on Patricia's jet, but Patricia ejected just in time, opening her parachute and saving herself. The Queen started chasing her, but Dylan and the other pilots arrived just then and attacked the Queen using her own technology against her. Inside the base, the aliens managed to break through and reach the orb, signaling the Queen with their location. Dylan and his team soon lost control of their jets, since the Queen could manipulate her technology telepathically. Meanwhile, Umbutu and Floyd arrived to defend the orb. Together, they fought fiercely and managed to kill all the invading aliens. Now, the Queen began breaking through the base's roof. She was just 2 minutes away from reaching the orb. All the alien jets surrounded her like armor, spinning in formation. Jake and Dylan's jets were caught in that same vortex, but they switched to manual thrusters and managed to break free. As the Queen entered the base, she grabbed the sphere. But just then, Jake and Dylan regained control of their jets and unleashed heavy fire on her, shattering her armor. The Queen was gravely wounded and began to fall. Meanwhile, David was driving the bus full of children straight toward her direction. Seeing the Queen falling right above them, he quickly put the bus in reverse and narrowly escaped at the last second. The orb was finally freed. Just like in the First War, with the Queen's death, the drilling stopped, and all alien ships crashed to the ground. Around the world, people celebrated humanity's second victory over the aliens. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.